Taehyung didn't believe in hesitation. Hesitation got people killed. Hesitation made hands shake, hearts weak, minds unreliable. And Taehyung, he was none of those things. Cold, precise, unreachable. That's what they called him. A ghost in the underworld. A name whispered, never spoken too loudly. Because if Kim Taehyung was assigned to you, you were already dead. The room was dark except for the faint glow of a laptop screen. Rain tapped lightly against the window. This rain was quieter, calmer. But Taehyung still hated it. His fingers moved across the keyboard with practiced ease, pulling up encrypted files, scanning through targets, locations, patterns, routine, simple, clean. Until a new file appeared.
Taehyung's eyes narrowed slightly. That wasn't unusual, but the number beneath it, 5 billion won. For a moment, his fingers stilled. That was unusual. Very. No ordinary target carried that kind of price. He clicked the file open, the screen flickered, and then a name appeared. Jungkook. Taehyung stared at it. No additional data, no background, no known affiliations. Just eliminate quietly. That was it. Taehyung leaned back in his chair, eyes cold, calculating. Too clean, he muttered under his breath. Nothing in his world was ever this clean. High payment, no information, no urgency, just silence. It felt wrong. And yet, that didn't matter. A mission was a mission, and Taehyung never failed. The mansion stood alone. Too quiet, too open, too unguarded. Taehyung crouched on the edge of a nearby rooftop, rain-soaked tiles cold beneath his hands as he observed the property through his scope. No visible guards, no surveillance rotations, no patrol patterns. For someone rich, powerful, this was reckless. Taehyung adjusted the focus. The large glass windows revealed glimpses of the inside. Minimalist, elegant, expensive. But empty. Where was he? Taehyung checked the time. 11:42 p.m. Then, movement. Taehyung's finger paused against the trigger as a figure stepped into the soft glow of the garden lights. Jungkook. For the first time, Taehyung saw his target. And something felt off. Jungkook wasn't dressed like someone powerful. No suit, no guards, just a simple black hoodie, sleeves slightly rolled up, damp from the night air. Casual, unbothered. Taehyung narrowed his eyes. Too careless. He shifted slightly, adjusting his aim. A clear shot. One pull. Done. Easy. But then, Jungkook crouched down. Taehyung blinked. What? From the shadows, small shapes began to gather. Cats. Stray cats. 1, 2, 5. Jungkook smiled softly as they approached him, completely unafraid. And then, he started feeding them. Carefully, gently, breaking food into smaller pieces, making sure each one got something. Taehyung froze. His finger didn't move. Through the scope, he watched as Jungkook laughed quietly when one of the cats nudged his hand impatiently. Hey, wait your turn, Jungkook murmured, voice soft, almost teasing. Another cat climbed onto his lap. Jungkook didn't push it away. Instead, he adjusted slightly to make it comfortable, and for the first time in years, Taehyung felt something crack. Just slightly. His grip on the rifle loosened, his breathing uneven. "This is my target," he whispered under his breath, disbelief lacing his voice. Because this This didn't look like someone dangerous.
Taehyung lowered the gun slowly, just a little. His eyes didn't leave Jungkook, studying, trying to understand, because something wasn't right. Nothing about this mission felt right. High payment, no background, no protection. Taehyung's jaw tightened. "Who are you?" he murmured. As if hearing him, Jungkook suddenly looked up, directly toward the rooftop, toward him. Taehyung's breath stopped. Their eyes didn't meet, couldn't possibly meet at that distance, and yet, for a split second, it felt like Jungkook was looking right at him. Then Jungkook looked back down at the cats. Taehyung's heart beat once, hard, loud, unfamiliar, and for the first time in his career, he didn't take the shot.
Taehyung never delayed missions, never. But this time, he did. Observation required. He reported coldly through the encrypted line the next morning. A pause. Then a voice responded, distorted and emotionless. "You're hesitating." Taehyung's expression didn't change. "No." Silence stretched. Then, 3 days. The line clicked dead. 3 days. That's all he had. 3 days to finish the job. Or become the target himself. The next morning, the building was quiet. The kind of quiet that almost hurt your ears. Taehyung entered Jungkook's apartment again, this time dressed in plain overalls, a clipboard in hand. He moved like any other maintenance worker, checking lights, inspecting the kitchen sink, jotting down notes. Nothing about him should have raised suspicion. But Jungkook noticed immediately. He was leaning against the doorway, arms crossed, eyes scanning Taehyung with unsettling precision. Yet he said nothing, not a word. Just a faint, knowing smile tugged at his lips. Taehyung froze for a heartbeat under that gaze, but kept moving. Routine, he reminded himself. Professional. Observing. "Coffee or tea?" Jungkook asked, breaking the silence without looking away from him. Taehyung paused mid-step, clipboard hovering. "Tea," he muttered, voice rougher than he intended. Jungkook disappeared into the kitchen, returning with 2 steaming cups. He handed one to Taehyung, who accepted it cautiously. "You're new here," Jungkook said softly, leaning on the counter. "I haven't seen you before. Where did you work before?" Taehyung blinked. He hadn't expected to answer. "Various places," he said carefully, avoiding specifics. Jungkook smiled, tilting his head. "Lonely jobs, huh? Quiet places. I get it. My friend worked in maintenance once. You feel more at home in silence than conversation, right?" This man, this target, was dissecting him effortlessly. "Some people are good at hiding," Jungkook continued, almost teasing. "Some can't. You're good." Taehyun's hands clenched around the cup. He kept silent. Professionalism was all that mattered. Later, they shared the elevator to the lobby. Rain streaked the glass outside, blurring the city lights. "Going somewhere?" Jungkook asked casually, leaning slightly against the elevator wall. "Errands," Taehyung replied, his voice clipped. Jungkook didn't press. Instead, he tilted his chin, letting his gaze linger on Taehyung's face. It was a silent battle. Who would break first? The elevator chimed open and they stepped out together. Taehyung felt it, a subtle tug in his chest, a strange warmth creeping in, alien and unwelcome. He pushed it down. Observation, professionalism, mission. Days passed. Taehyung observed. He repaired, delivered, fixed, cleaned, never interacting more than necessary. Every action precise, calculated. Mission first. Emotion, non-existent. But Jungkook broke the rules. A cup of tea left at the maintenance room table with a quiet note. You look tired. Drink. A story of a childhood memory told over breakfast. He had a small apartment garden, he said, full of lilies and stray cats. Jungkook's eyes glimmered when he laughed quietly. Warmth, humanity, unfamiliar to Taehyung. It confused him. He found himself lingering, noticing subtle things. The way Jungkook's fingers moved, the faint scent of jasmine in his apartment, the rhythm of his smile when he was truly amused. And yet, the awareness was constant. You seem very disciplined, Jungkook said one afternoon, leaning casually on the doorway as Taehyung installed a light fixture. Do you ever get tired of it? Taehyung's hand froze. It's a job, he said curtly, forcing detachment. But you've done difficult things, Jungkook whispered, voice soft, almost intimate. Things that leave marks. Taehyung's jaw tightened. He didn't answer, but his mind screamed. Every act of kindness Jungkook offered, every personal story he shared, every quiet smile, he was being studied. And yet, he wanted it. He hated that he wanted it. It started on the balcony. Rain fell softly over the city, painting the streets below in flickering gold and silver reflections. Neon lights danced across the glass of the surrounding skyscrapers. Taehyung stood rigid at the edge, pretending to check the railing, while Jungkook leaned casually against the corner, umbrella forgotten. You always work this late? Jungkook asked, voice soft against the rain. Taehyung didn't answer. Tea? He offered. Taehyung hesitated, then took one. The warmth seeped into his cold fingers. They stood side by side, leaning against the balcony railing. The city stretched beneath them, bright lights blurred by rain, cars like glowing ants, the night quiet but alive. The city looks peaceful from up here, Jungkook said quietly, voice soft, almost intimate. Taehyung's heart skipped. He wasn't used to being drawn in like this. It does, he murmured, carefully watching Jungkook's profile. The words struck him harder than any bullet could. You know, Jungkook began, his gaze dropping to the city lights. I know why you're here. Excuse me? Taehyung's voice was rougher than intended. Taehyung stiffened. The gun in his mind, the mission, the code, everything screamed. And? He asked, tight-lipped, professional, controlled. Jungkook sipped his tea calmly. And I don't mind. The words landed like a stone in Taehyung's chest. He wanted to refute, to deny, to run, but he couldn't move, couldn't breathe properly. Taehyung felt the tug of something he hadn't allowed himself to feel in years. Why are you like this? He muttered finally. Why let me in? Jungkook shrugged lightly. Some things are better understood than fought against. Taehyung wanted to respond, wanted to assert control, but every instinct in his body, the killer, the professional, the observer, was failing.